And welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us. Frank Tomaino is our guest. We're talking local history. We're going to talk about the series on former Utica mayors that Frank has been researching and writing. And Frank, when did, refresh my memory, when did that series start?
I think the second week in April. Mm-hmm. There's 71 mayors and 6 or 7 village presidents. So I'll probably be 98 years old when it ends.
Yeah,
so and it's 2 a week.
Yeah.
I'm in the 1870s now. I'm in a tough part here because some of these mayors in the 1870s, some of them are well known, but others, we know they were mayor. Period.
Yeah.
So I try to find the obituaries. It's fun. I'm really having fun doing the research. But we've run. Well, 2 a week since April, the first week of April.
And you mentioned village presidents. That's the way it started off. They were appointed by the Common Council. Talk about that a little bit, Frank.
Well, Utica became a village in 1798 and elected a village president. We don't know the name. In 1848, there was a fire in the Common Council chambers, and all the records, all the early records of the village were burned and destroyed. So the first one that we know of, I forget now, it was like 1810, Jeremiah Van Rensselaer. So we do know, but there were 6 or 7 village presidents that we know of until 1831. Then in 1832 we became a city. But some of the village presidents, Morris Miller, who began to build number 3 Rector Park, historic building which still stands. Nathan Williams, the father of James Watson Williams, and the grandfather of Mariah and Rachel Proctor. There's so many, real prominent village presidents too. Then in 1832, Utica became a city, and at the same time, the charter said the Common Council, the people would elect the Common Council, and the Common Council would name a president. And in 1832, the Common Council named Joseph Kirkland as our first mayor. And he was the nephew of Samuel Kirkland, the famous missionary. The town of Kirkland is named for him. So Joseph Kirkland was a well-known attorney here in Utica. Yeah.
As you've gone through before I even get to that, are you going to go right up to modern day, or were you going to cut it off?
Right up to Palmieri, although with the, I really haven't decided yet. I'm going to go right to Palmieri, but with the mayors that are still living, I'm not going to go into that much detail, especially if some of them are running for election. But I'm going to go right up to, what are we, 2019 now? Yeah.
I think that I can recall you telling me once that your favorite mayor, or one of your favorite mayors, was Boyd Golder.
Yeah, if I had to make a list, I'd put him on the top or near to the top. It's going to be fun writing about him. I interviewed him when he was his 85th birthday. I did a 3-part series for the OD, and I spent a lot of time with him. We just sat and talked. No notes, nothing. We just talked back and forth, and every so often he said, "That's off the record. That's on the record."
Yeah. Where did you conduct that interview, Frank?
Right at the OD in the conference room, as you remember, the conference room.
What was his health like then?
Well, pretty good. In fact, they had the Oneida County Legislature gave him an 85th birthday. I forget where it was, but he was in good health, and he lived a couple of years later. He was in his youth, a pro wrestler.
He was a pretty good-sized man.
Oh yeah, and he came to Utica to run really he called it a health camp, but he was way ahead of the game, exercise and all that. He came to Utica as a young man. So he was born in Pennsylvania, but he was mayor from 45 to 55, known as the loom to boom era, because while he was mayor, a lot of the mills, not because he was mayor, but a lot of the mills, the knit good mills, decided to head south.
Cheaper labor, Frank?
Cheaper labor was the main reason. They said they wanted to be closer to the cotton fields, Bologna. It was many of the GIs, the men and women coming back from World War II, did not want to go back on the mills and work for pennies, you know, and they, the mills just decided to move out. But we were fortunate to have a group, and Golder was one of them, to convince the GEs and the Bendix Aviation, Mohawk Airlines, Chicago Pneumatic, to Sperry Univac to come in Utica. So while he was mayor, we moved from a mill town to a light electronics machinery town. And he also had a great deal. I don't think we would have a Utica college here if it wasn't for, well, there were a couple of others, but Boyd Golder was one of the leaders convincing Syracuse University to open a college here in Utica in 1946. Syracuse was hesitant, university, because at that time Lemoyne College was being built in Syracuse, which would be a Catholic college. And Syracuse University feared, well, many of the Catholics in the Utica area would support Lemoyne and, you know, not support a Utica college. But Golder, and there were a couple of others, went to Syracuse and talked to the chancellor there. And I remember him telling me the story that Father May, little Father May, who was about 5'3" and a Catholic, naturally a Catholic, and you know, when Syracuse told him, well, you know, you're building Lemoyne, little Father May pounded on the table, Utica needs a college. And Golder said the same thing and convinced the chancellor to build a branch here, and that evolved into Utica College, which is a great college today.
And for many years, you went to Utica College as you did, and you got a Syracuse diploma.
Oh, yeah? Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
When we come back, we'll talk some more with Frank Tomaino. Short break, right back.